All right, guys. Today we got a couple of little Chevy Tahoes here we've brought in, and we're gonna see if we can get these things running and diagnose the problems with them. And I know one of them, I think, has got a bad lifter in the DOD, and the other one runs good, but it needs a rear end in it. So we're gonna see if we can't get these two fixed up here and get them on the road, and see if we can't make a little money here selling these boogers. So I'll show you what we got here. We got two 2013 Chevrolet Tahoe police vehicles. They both got about 100,000 miles on them. Well used, but they're still a good old vehicle. So and then this one is a 2013, and it's got a bad DOD lifter in it, I believe, but we'll get her cranked up here, see what kind of noises it makes. So not too bad on the inside. They still got the back seats in them. This one had a cage in it. You can see the marks right here where the cage rubbed in the holes in the ceiling where they had it mounted. But they make good little vehicles. They're good drivers. Good drivers. So let's see if we can't get a fresh battery in this one. Get it cranked up, and we'll put the scanner on it and see what it does.
I don't know what y'all heard or what he heard, but all I heard was, you keep a knocking.
Hey,
Roll down your window.
what? Keep on knocking, but you can't come in.
As you can see, it's most definitely got a bad miss in it. It had really good oil pressure, so it's probably just a stuck lifter in it. We'll get the scanner out and see which cylinder it's on. Get our scanner out here and we'll get this thing plugged in. We got power to it. That's a good sign. So it's got a random multiple cylinder misfire. Cylinder 1 deactivation. Intake valve control circuit open. Cylinder 4 deactivation. Intake valve control circuit open. So we'll pull it over here to the garage and we're going to pull the valve cover off of it and see if the lifter is actually working, or if it's just the DOD valley cover that's bad. Either way, we're going to delete the DOD in the computer, and then we'll put a block off plug in the valley to keep the oil pressure from going to deactivate the cylinders. We'll fix it where it doesn't deactivate them anymore, so we don't ever have to worry about this again. And then they'll run forever till they blow up. So let's pull it over to the garage and see what we can do here. So it's given a P3401 code in it. So we're going to see what the P3401 code involves here. So the P3401 code is the cylinder 1 deactivation intake valve control circuit is open, which means the powertrain control module, otherwise known as the PCM, has noticed that cylinder number 1 isn't turning on or off as commanded. Low engine oil, a faulty cylinder displacement solenoid, and wiring issues are common causes of the P3401. So luckily we have some parts to fix that possibly. So let's pull the valve covers off and see if any of the lifters are actually stuck. I can't hear what it usually sounds like when a lifter's bad. It's just missing. So let's get in there and see what it is. All right, guys, we're gonna start taking some of this stuff apart and let's see what we got down in here. See what all new parts they've already replaced to try to fix the problem. And just looking at how clean the heads are on it, it looks like the heads have been off this thing pretty recently. It's got new bolts in all the exhaust manifolds. It's got new exhaust gaskets on it. It's just got, it does have the black multi-layer steel head gaskets on it, but the heads look like they've been replaced because all the bolts and everything have been off this thing. And the head is really clean. But then again, those trucks only got 100,000 miles, but I think they've been in here and done a top end on it. I don't know, we'll start pulling it apart and see what we got. Yeah, the inside of that head is clean like new. Number one, nice and tight. So they've replaced the heads on this thing pretty recently. So we'll crank it up with the valve cover off of it and see if any of that stuff's broken. Yeah, I don't think it's got a bad lifter. I think it's just the valley plate's bad on it. Everything in here is new. Surely if they had the heads off of it, they put new lifters in it. Yeah, there wasn't, none of these lifters are loose. It's like they are when the DOD. None of these rocker arms are loose like they are when the DOD is collapsed. It's the only noise it's making is just the missing noise. So we'll pull the intake off of it and pull the the DOD lifter valley top off of it, and we will put a plug in it to shut it off, put it back on there, and then we'll take it down here to the tuner and he will turn it off in the computer. And it should run right. All right, let's get started on that. All right, guys, after we pulled the air horn off of it, a little closer inspection. If you look right down here, you can see the dark gray paint. That's a signature of Jasper engines. They always paint their stuff with that old dark gray paint. And if you look right down there on that freeze plug, you'll see it's got one of those heat sensors in it that tells you if it's been overheated. So what we have here is a Jasper rebuild engine. If you look at the timing cover, you can see it's got that old dark gray paint on it. So this has been replaced with a Jasper rebuilt engine. So even though the truck only shows, let's see how many miles this thing shows on it. It shows 107,000 miles, and it's got a new engine in it from Jasper. So surely they replaced all the lifters in it, at least the DOD lifters while they had it apart. But we're gonna pull the intake off of it, and we're gonna check it ourselves, and then we're also, while we got the intake off, we'll pull the valley cover off, plug the oil galley going to those solenoids, that way it'll never will operate again. We won't have this trouble. So we'll get this intake pulled off here, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys, we're gonna pull this intake off here, and we'll go through the process of doing this. First, we're gonna undo our battery. Take the negative cable loose. We're just gonna take our hot wire off our alternator there. And just a little note here, this was a county-owned vehicle. They serviced it. They serviced it regularly, and they're probably the ones that swapped the engine out in it. I was looking, when I first looked at it, at how clean that valley pan plate was, but I would, after seeing that it's a Jasper replacement engine, I would say these guys didn't even pull that off and check it. I would say they just seen that it had a lifter issue and it was missing. That they, that's the reason they sold it. It was up for sale when I bought it, that it had lifter issues. So I'm just about betting that when we pull that pan off, those solenoids in there, that's probably a used valley pan. If it's not, it's probably not original GM. It's probably some aftermarket crap. But either way, we pull that off, and we'll put a plug in it so the oil pressure doesn't go to those solenoids anymore. And that should fix the problem. But we're gonna yank this intake off and get down to it. So we got all them loose. Silly cover on the back that's fixing to come off. So we'll show you what we got now. So it don't even have a DOD lifter valley plate in it. So it's been DOD deleted. In the engine. So I guess the only other thing to do is gonna be to clean this up, put the intake back on it, take it to the programmer and have it programmed. All right, let's see what we can do then. This is crazy. All right, guys, we're gonna go back together with this thing since we found out it's got a Jasper crate engine in it with a, it's already got a DOD delete. So the only thing it can be is it's the computer's just not programmed for the DOD delete. So we're gonna put it back together and we're gonna take it down here and get it programmed. All right, we got it all back together. Everything's tight, as far as I know. I don't think I left anything loose. We'll find out though. We'll see if it'll run. First, we're gonna reset the computer in it, I hope. We're gonna go through the scanner here. Try to reset this computer. Oh yeah. Read the codes. Multiple cylinder misfire. Throttle position. Escape. Let's erase all those codes. And let's check them again, see if they're still there. Multiple cylinder throttle position sensor. Cylinder 1 deactivation, cylinder 4 deactivation. I mean, it's got good oil pressure. I don't know. We'll take it down there and get it programmed and see what it does. It ain't gonna run good like this. Brand new engine ought to be better than that, shouldn't it? Ought to be. Hang tight, we'll see we'll figure this thing out. All right, guys, we got this old police Tahoe back in here. We got the computer all programmed on it. Got it set up for no DOD and no active fuel management. So now we still got a miss in it. So now we're gonna do a little compression test on it. We're gonna figure out which cylinder is bad and try to figure out what's wrong with this thing. It sounds like it's got an exhaust valve burn on it because it sounds like it's pushing compression back into the exhaust system. So we're gonna do a compression test on it and we're gonna figure out what's wrong with this thing, and we'll set you up here and take you along with us on this little fix this thing up so we can drive it and clean it up and get rid of it, sell it and make us a little money here. So let's see what we can do. We got this little compression tester here. We're gonna pull these spark plugs out and then we're gonna stick this thing in each cylinder on this side and see which one of these is bad. So let's get down there and see what we can do. Here we go on number one. It's on this 2013 model Tahoe. To cut the fuel off on it, it doesn't have just a fuse in the fuse panel, and you got to pull the plug out of the fickum on it. It's got a fuel injection control module, and you've got to unplug the fuel injection control module. So if you pull your cover off of your fuse box down in here, you'll see there's no fuse or relay for a fuel pump in these 2013 Tahoes. That's because they got a fuel injection control module, which you gotta unplug. We've already unplugged that in the back there to turn this thing over without the fuel working on it, so we can spin it over and without shooting fuel into the cylinders. Let's turn this over and see what number one's got. The number one's got 200 pounds of compression on it. It's pretty good. So like I said before, this thing's got this engine that's in here is a Jasper. 200 pounds of compression there. So this is a new Jasper engine that's in this thing, new Jasper rebuilt or whatever they do to them. But for some reason, one of these cylinders sounds like it's got a burnt valve, so this compression gauge will tell us which one it is. We're gonna try it on number 5 here. See what we get. So remember that on these Gen 4 LS engines that came with DOD, cylinder 1 and 7 on this side are the DOD cylinders, and on the other side it's cylinder 4 and 6. So it's the front one and the back one on this side, and it's the two middle ones on the other side. So you would assume that if there was something wrong, it would be on one of the DOD cylinders. But anyways, we're checking. This is cylinder number 5 right here. We're gonna check compression on cylinder number 5. And so cylinder number 5 has 0 compression. None. We'll try it one more time. So cylinder number 5, it seems to be a problem here. So we know this head on this side's probably got to come off. We'll pull the valve cover again just to make sure it's not a broke valve spring or could be a broke valve spring on the exhaust, holding the exhaust open, but we'll check that before we pull the head off of it. So we know one problem on this side is going to be cylinder number 5. So when it's sitting there running, you can hear the compression going back into the exhaust system on this side for sure. The other side seems to sound fine, but I guess we'll pull the spark plugs out of it and check the compression over there to see if that head needs to come off too. Nothing but fun. That one's got 195. 200. One other thing it could be. So you never know about these old Jasper engines. If they put a new phaser in it on that variable valve timing, because it's got a variable valve timing cover on it, and the cam could be out how much ever that phaser will let it be out, and that could be what burnt that valve. But the only way to check that is to pull the whole front off the engine and see if that phaser's bad. Because for it to burn the exhaust valve on number 5 cylinder, it's just awful odd on a new engine. Anyways, we'll pull the valve covers off of that side over there, and we'll check the valve train and see what we got going on over there before we pull that head. So let's pull all that apart. All right, guys, we're back here working on this Tahoe again, and so we got the valve cover pulled off, and we're gonna take a look in here at the valve springs and the valve train on this top end of the engine here, and we're gonna see if we find something wrong with it. And let's turn you around here and let you take a peek at it here. So we've got all the valve cover off, and the rocker arms and springs are exposed. So these two right here are cylinder number 5 there, and so the exhaust spring looks good right here, but the intake spring looks like it's collapsed. And so you see the play in the rocker arm. And if you look, these rest of these rocker arms, the top edge is below the head, and on this one right here, the top edge is above the head. So we're sitting at a point where this valve should be closed completely. So it looks like this intake valve right here is either bent, or the guides come out of it and slid down, or something has happened to keep this valve opened. So I thought it was the exhaust valve, but apparently it's the intake valve on number 5 cylinder there that's giving us our trouble. So the only way to fix it at this point is to pull the head off of it, and probably have to put a valve in it. The valve guide might when it gets hot have seized up on that valve a little bit and held it open long enough for the piston to hit it, and it's bent the valve in there. Any of a number of things could have happened, but the valve spring's not broke. It's just under a lot of pressure trying to push back up. But we will pull that rocker arm off there, and we'll see if that valve spring comes up any, but I don't think it will, because you can take the pressure off of it with your finger. All right, let me set you up here somewhere and we'll dig in here a little closer. So we got that rocker arm pulled off there, and you can still see that valve spring is still compressed. So we got a bent valve on that number 5 intake there. So I'm gonna set you up on camera here and we're gonna start pulling this head off. Get this thing disassembled and then we'll see what the actual problem is. So let's get her fixed. So when I'm pulling the head on one of these trucks without pulling the exhaust system off of it, I like to pull this inner fender well out so I can get up in there through the fender well hole, and I'll just loosen that. When I take the bolts out of the exhaust manifold, I'll take a ratchet strap and I'll pull that exhaust manifold out of my way with a ratchet strap so I don't have to completely take it off. Save some time pulling those heads. So I'm gonna yank this wheel off, pull this inner fender well out of this thing, and then we'll put the wheel back on. We'll roll it outside, drain all the antifreeze out of it, and we'll get started yanking that head off. When you get that out, you got a nice clear shot right up through here to get to anything you need to get to. Like I said, we'll get this exhaust manifold loose, and we'll take a ratchet strap and we'll pull it this way so we can get those head bolts out without having to take all that exhaust loose. It's a shame that one cylinder didn't hold up, because that's a new Jasper engine they've stuck in here. All right, let's get this thing done here. Let's see what we gotta do. Alright, we're gonna put this wheel back on. Roll this thing outside and get these antifreeze. We're going through the same process again. Taking this intake manifold back off. We should have left it off the other day when we had it off. We should have. bush down real quick. You hear them little airplanes flying around. There's a bunch of them bush pilots that live around here. They all gather at these farm airfields. Some days there'll be 25 or 30 of them out here. There's probably 7 of them right now flying around. Little small bush planes. 2-seater airplanes that you'll hear them flying around today. If the grass is cut. Right now we hadn't cut the hay, so the fields are all still real tall, so they won't land in that, but they'll come over after we cut the hay some days, and I'll try to get some footage of it. So this thing's got this aftermarket exhaust gasket manifold on it, or manifold gasket. I've never used one like this before. I've always just reused the factory stainless ones that are on there. Even if the rivets are come out of them, I just stick them back together and put them back on there, tape them back together. And the factory metal ones seem to work really, really good. But down there in the comments, leave a comment if you've ever used one like this and if it's lasted or if it blows out, because I know them stainless ones, they won't blow out. But, and would you reuse this gasket? Leave it in the comments below. Like I said, my preference is just to reuse the old stainless ones. I keep extra ones around here, the used ones that I pull off and save them because they're so good. See if it'll burn the tires off of it. And how many times can you reuse those head bolts before you have to throw them away? Are they used once and then buy another set, or do you reuse them? I've done it both ways and never had a problem either way, but some people swear by throwing them away and getting new ones, and some people swear that they'll last forever. Just keep reusing them. I wonder if Jasper Engines reuses them or throws them away. I'd like to know. She's off. Oh man, I never would have thought that. Huh. let's pull you in here closer and you see what happened. So we got the head off. There's cylinder 7. It don't look bad. Cylinder 5 there. Looks like the seat has come out of it. That head has probably been hot on one of their engines that they got back as a core. They just cleaned it up, stuck it back on another engine, and it's probably cracked. It's probably got a crack in it down there that's let that let that seat come loose. That's what's wrong with it. Huh. It's bigger than day. She ain't gonna seal like that. So I guess we will be finding another head to go on this thing. Huh. But that ain't no problem either. These things are a dime a dozen. Alright, let's get cleaned up here and let's go eat some lunch. Oh, these two rascally dogs. Man. Little pee-pee. Pee-pee. Pee-pee the beagle. Pee-pee the beagle. And Roxy, she's an Australian Scubadiskin. Jealous, aren't you, Roxy? Oh, Roxy. Jealous of Pee-pee. Jealous of Pee-pee. Oh, Pee-pee. Pee-pee. Tell them, peeps. Ooh. Damn, I'm too low to the ground. I pick up all the dirt and dust in my nose. Too low to the ground. All right, guys, we went over to McMinnville this morning and we found us we got a rear end for one of these other Tahoes, and we found a head over there for this one that had the bad head on it. So we got a head to go back on this thing. I've already set it on here. So the head's just sitting there with the bolt stuck in it. Now we're gonna torque it all down and get this thing back to running. So that other head said the valve seat had completely dropped out on that one, number 5 cylinder. So I don't believe that head's any good. We'll send it off to the head. We'll send it off down there to the head machine shop, and if they can do something with it, they will. If they can't, it's just be scrap aluminum. So I'm gonna set you guys up here and we'll get this head torqued down and start putting this thing back together. Have us a running, driving police Tahoe. Hang in there, guys. We're gonna get this done.
Smells so good in this barn.
It does. What's it smell like?
ready to see what I was going to show you? Because it's really amazing. I drew this by myself.
You did. I don't know how accurate it is, but it sure makes it easier to get that 70 degrees when they got that digital. Torque wrench or whatever it is. Digital torque to yield things. This can. So that's that. Them head bolts is down there. They all torqued and yielded and should be good to go. We'll throw the rocker arms on it and the push rods back in it.
I did my whole one with the whole Spidey crew.
Uh-oh. You all tattooed up.
I did a really good job with Gwen.
Gwen?
That's Gwen, that's Miles Morales. That's Spider-Man.
Uh-oh, they all look like some kind of Spider-Man.
They are.
Spider-Man.
But that's the only thing I came down here for, to show you that.
Oh, you said you all tattooed?
I'm going to see if I can get Roxy back up too.
All right.
Again. Roxy, come here. Can you try to call Roxy?
Yeah.
I'm trying to call her like your voice, but she won't come.
She knows the difference between you and me.
Apparently.
So before we put the valve cover on it, we're going to turn it over without the spark plugs in it and get the oil pressure up and go ahead and make sure there's oil coming out. All the every time you start to talk, the air compressor is going to come on. So again, before we crank this thing up, we're going to check for oil pressure. We're going to make sure we have oil coming out of all those push rods, feeding the lifters, the rocker arms, and make sure the lifters are pumped up. So we're going to turn it over without the spark plugs in it and get the oil pressure up and look at all that before we stick the valve cover on it. So we got oil sitting on top of all of them. So we got oil running through the push rods. all that should be good. Get the valve cover on this side and be ready to put the intake on it. Make sure everything's got good oil on it. Good oil. That's one thing an engine can't do. It can't run without oil. It can for a few seconds, but I don't care if it's clean oil or dirty oil. They gotta be oil in there. One or the other. But no oil, that's where it ends. That'll kill it every time. Now we like finishing. All right, we're gonna get this thing put back together. Put the intake back on here. Oh, why don't they make a stool that will quit sliding across the floor? Every time you put a weight on it, that thing slides across the floor, and next thing you know, you're in the floor because it slid out from underneath you. What the? I said, what the, Bobby? Bobby, what are you doing over there? Bobby. Bobby, get up out of the floor over there and get to working. Even though that stool slid out from underneath you, that don't mean you lay in the floor. Get your out of the floor and get back to work, Bobby. I was talking to Bobby. That guy laying in the floor back there and ain't getting nothing done.
Who's Poppy?
Bobby.
Who's Bobby?
And that guy down there in the floor that keeps falling over.
Where?
The one back there in the back of the building.
Let me see.
Oh, Bobby. The stool slid out from underneath him and he hit the floor. I said, Bobby, get up out of the floor. You know what Bobby said?
What?
You know what Bobby said?
What?
Bobby didn't say nothing.
Who is Bobby and where is he?
I don't know who he is.
Why'd you keep saying Bobby?
I'm talking to these people on YouTube.
On what?
On YouTube.
Where are you watching YouTube at?
I'm not watching it. I'm filming it.
Oh.
Oh, there he goes again, Bobby. That stool gonna slide plumb out from underneath you and you gonna be in the floor. Oh.
Are you actually putting this on YouTube?
Yeah.
Even the sound?
Yeah.
Oh, hello, YouTube.
It's filming right now. You showing them your thing you do?
Yep.
Your artwork?
Yep.
That right, Bobby? Bobby! Poor old Bobby, he can't say nothing. He back there in the back, crammed up in the floor. Oh my goodness. Woo, I'm burning up. Somebody forgot to turn the air conditioner on. Bobby, why ain't you got that air conditioner running back there, Bobby? Get up out of the floor. I think he fell asleep back here. Bobby, get up out of the floor. Oh well, poor old Bobby. Bobby. What'd you say? I said, poor old Bobby. See, my parts here are, I got an alternator left. I put the power steering bracket back on. I've got 8 spark plugs here. Coal packs. Fill it up with water. Alright, we're gonna put these spark plugs in here. We're gonna gap these things to about 35. Get one back in our problem child there. That number 5 cylinder was the whole reason we had to do all this crap. But it wasn't the cylinder's fault. It was the cylinder head just wasn't gonna hold that valve seat anymore. He said, I'm done working. I'm giving up. And he dropped that seat out of it. Those are all hand tight. Let's give them a little snug 'em up. We got all those back on there. For that side. That side. That side. See if we can figure out how to put the coal packs back on it. This and one more is gonna make 2 times I've ever done this, so bear with me. I'm learning as I go. Like I said before, anything you see on here that I'm doing is not how to do it. It's how I'm doing it. So, it may not be the right way, but it's the way it's getting done. That's it. So don't take it for the gospel. Just take it for entertainment. Wham, bam. The coals are on, ma'am. Oh, Bobby, quit sliding off that stool. I ain't telling you again back there, Bobby. We're gonna go back there and we're gonna find Bobby laying in the floor. Oh! Oh! Yep. I'm gonna need a break from all this crap. I said, I'm gonna need a break. Oh! Goodness. Bobby. You rough on the equipment. I'd get me one of them leaning posts. Hey, Bobby. One injector. Two injector. Three injector. Let's see. That's some kind of condition. This is the coals. Get the coals all hot. There we go. Yeah. I think that plugs into here. Yeah. That, yep. That plugs into there. And then that's the other injector. It plugs in right here. Right there. There's that one. Uh-huh. Yep, that's alternator. Uh-huh. Yeah. That goes right there. That's the temperature condition. The temperature condition here. Hopefully that works. Gives us a little temperature reading there. I don't see why it wouldn't. Alright. Alternator. There's that plug back in. So we got everything on this side plugged back up. All that's plugged up. All that's plugged up. Let's get the plugs in the other side. The hard side. You can't see, you need glasses, and you don't need glasses, and then you got a glass, then your glasses fog up, and you don't have any light, and then there's just no perfect scenario. And then you got this, and you don't have that, and then you got that, and you don't have this. This thing had dual batteries on it. But we're going to take these dual battery cables, these newer style cables, and put them on that diesel truck we got. Get rid of that side post. Set up when we change, next time we change batteries, we're going to change all this over to that diesel truck. Put these newer top post style batteries on that truck. Because I can't stand a side post battery. See if I can remember how this belt goes on here. Let's see. It'll go like that, like that, like that. And it's got to go like that, like that. I believe it goes like that. If it don't, I'll always wonder why it didn't. You buy these old cheap paint filters for painting stuff, painting cars or whatever, over at Harbor Freight, and they go in a funnel. So when you're putting your antifreeze back in your vehicle, you throw that filter in the funnel, and that filters all the trash that you've accumulated from draining your antifreeze. That'll filter the trash out, the bugs, any other critters that get in there. And then when you're done with them, you just throw them away. Just cheap paint filters from Harbor Freight. Let's hook the fuel injection control module. We'll climb underneath it. We'll plug it back in and we'll be ready to test fire. Wow! Wow, Bobby! That right, Bobby. Bobby, wake up back there. We ain't got time to take a nap today. We got to get something done. All right, who's got bets on what it's going to do? Is it going to run? Is it going to crank up and run? Let's throw some power to it and see what happens. Crank right up, did it? Firing like a kitten. Looks like a brand new. That's a brand new one. Like brand new. seems to be good. We'll get her out of here and give her a test drive and see how that goes. Here we are, guys. We got this thing all cranked up. We're in it. And got the air conditioner blowing cold. We're gonna go for us a test drive here, and we're gonna check this thing out and see if we like it or not. If we don't like it, well, we're gonna sell it. If we do like it, well, we're gonna sell it. We're gonna get rid of it one way or the other. But I like these old trucks. They ride good, drive good, and all. So let's take this thing down the road here and take you along with us and see how well it does. It's only got 107,000 miles on it, so it's not even broke in yet, especially with a brand new Jasper engine that we had to put a head on. So, all right, let's get down the road here and test this thing out. Here we are, guys. We're cruising down the road. This thing's running like a top. Smooth. Everything's working good. It's got good temperature. Still got good oil pressure. Seems to be getting alternator still working. This thing just running smooth. It's got plenty of power. So we're gonna keep driving this thing down the road here. Woo, this thing's gonna make somebody a good little vehicle. The crazy thing, when you're driving these old police vehicles, everybody, you hold up traffic, you look around, everybody wants to stop beside you. Nobody wants to pass you hardly. And then they realize you're not really the police, and then they start passing. So
I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots or only 5? Well, to tell you the truth, in all this excitement, I've kind of lost track myself. But Ian, this is a 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world, and would blow your head clean off. You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky?
everybody's got their brakes on. So we'll catch back up with you here shortly when we get on some 2-lane back roads. I think this is going to do it for this video segment on this 2013 Tahoe police special. So y'all guys, if you like it, hit the like button, comment down below what you do like about it or don't, and subscribe there for us. We sure appreciate you. Catch you on the next video. Thank you.